guys, welcome to Fridaysews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. It's going to be quite a quick one today. I'm having a nightmare with the light, and my work hours and term time are a bit mad, so I'm always quite limited as to when I can film and photograph. And I've just tried to photograph things, and the light was just way too bright, but in the shade it was too dark, and there's this sunbeam that's following me, and every time I start filming it starts sort of cutting across my face. So we're going to try and be concise, which I'm not known for, but let's see how we go. So you will see behind me a finished jacket, and it's really good, if I do say so myself. This is the Itch to Stitch Andy's jacket, which is a sort of raincoat pattern that was designed specifically for soft shell fabric. And that really shows because the combination of the fabric and the pattern is so good. Like the finishing of the product is really good, and that's because the pattern has been designed with this fabric in mind. Soft shell is great to work with. It's water resistant, fleecy on one side, doesn't fray, holds its shape, doesn't stretch, really easy to top stitch. My machine's absolutely fine with it. Yeah, I really enjoyed working with this fabric. I should say the fabric was gifted by Minerva.com in exchange for an honest review, and I'm not lying when I say I love this fabric. They have it in loads of colours. I picked purple because I like purple, but they have like a whole range of colours, so you can make the coat of your dreams in any of those. And right, the pattern. Itch to Stitch, I've sewn one of their patterns before, a dress. And I didn't enjoy the project because the fabric, it had polyester, it was a crepe, and it had a higher polyester content than I realised, and my machine just could not deal with it. So I was fighting with my machine the whole way through, and I've carried some of that resentment through to the finished dress. So this was the first project, Itch to Stitch project I'd done, where I sort of had a clear mind about it because I wasn't wrestling with my machine the whole time. They have some really great features, the main one being that they offer a good size range, but also multiple cup sizes across the whole size range, which is obviously good if you are smaller framed with a big bust or larger framed with a small bust, and every other iteration, it just means that you can really get a good fit. And the fit of this is something I'm really chuffed with. I made it to a D cup. In other patterns, I often find that if they're drafted to a D cup, I have to do an FBA, but for this one I didn't, which is great. And I'll put some pictures up here. Now, they're not the best pictures because of the light situation, but they'll give you an idea of the fit for now, and there should hopefully be better pictures at another time. So yeah, it has loads of lovely features to it. So we've got, it doesn't hang very well on the mannequin here, but we've got a 3-piece hood. So you've got this straight strip, and then the hood bags here. You can line the hood. I didn't because it's soft shell, but you can line it so you can have a nice little pop of something else. It's got these beautiful princess seams here, which obviously help you to give it a really good shape. You have a zip up front, which was a really key feature that I mentioned before that I was looking for. I don't do well with the metalwork, the buttons and things you have to put in. They really stress me out because you make this beautiful thing and then you have to like cut and hammer away, and they get distorted, and it's just very stressful. So I've got this lovely zip in, and there are also zip pockets. You can see the tip of one. There's one there, and there's one there. And they are in the seam. So this seam here like curves around to give you a really nice shape. There are twisted seams. Do you call it a twisted seam? Like a diagonal seam on the sleeve. So there's a nice design element there. And it also has a very subtle dipped hem. So it's slightly longer at the back than it is at the front, which is intentional, and looks really nice. It's probably boring for me to say just that I love it, but I just love it. I love it. I've had so many compliments, and mostly people being like, I can't believe you've actually made that. It looks like a North Face jacket. I'm thinking, you know what? It does. It's really difficult to get outdoorsy clothes for plus size people. And I've specifically found the raincoat patterns trickier to find in a sort of size inclusive bracket. And you know what? It could be one of those things where I'd go, well, I'll just go and get a ready to wear one, but it's really difficult to get nice ready to wear ones as well. And often they are the sort of plasticky ones where they're not comfy, they're just a very thin layer. Whereas this I can wear out dog walking. It feels really cozy and warm because of the fleece, and it looks nice. So because of the cut of it, there's enough space for me to wear, like I can wear this jumper underneath, which is quite a bulky jumper, but it gives quite a streamlined silhouette, so you're not sort of feeling like you're in a big sack. Yeah, it's a really good pattern, and I will say the instructions are really clear. I did have an issue, so I had to recut one of these front pieces because one of the initial things you do is attaching the pocket bags and the zip, and then there's a bit where you have to clip in, but you only have to clip in certain parts, and I clipped in the wrong bit. And then I thought, do I bodge it or do I recut that front piece and just have another go? And I'm really glad I recut it because the finish on this is really nice. Now, I will probably make another one. I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoy making it that much that I think at some point I will make another. What I'll probably do next time is tape the seams so that it's waterproof rather than just water resistant. And I think I might, if possible, I might try and bind them on the insides just so that it looks nice and pretty too. Because obviously with a jacket, often you would line it so you don't see the seams, whereas with this, it's unlined because the fabric already sort of has its own lining. But yeah, instructions were really good. It's a really nice pattern, and it's just sort of reminded me, I don't see loads of itch to stitch. And I know a few people commented and said they've made their stuff, and I can totally see why. But on Instagram, in the people I follow, I like don't see it come up often, and I don't know why, because this is such a good fit. I can't tell you how great it is to just make something and it just works. It just works, and it's such a staple part. Like, I was wearing it about 10 minutes after I finished it. It's a real like staple, and for me it's something that I have struggled to buy. It just seems like, oh, it's just, but for me, I've struggled to find a coat that I like, that's sort of practical enough if I'm going for a dog walk in the rain, or, you know, if you're going out in the countryside. I make these nice wool coats and they're gorgeous, but they're just too smart for that setting. So I'm really chuffed, and would highly recommend both the pattern and the fabric. Now, my Nova coat, there's going to be a video coming for that really soon, and Ruan, I know, has finished hers now as well, and it looks great. Again, I need to get some decent pictures, and I just need this light situation. My parents' garden, which obviously we're living with my parents at the minute while our house is having some work done, which is going on forever, by the way, and builders, nightmare. What everyone says is true. Not that I didn't believe it, but I really know it now. So my parents' garden, it just gets direct sunlight for a lot of the day, and it sort of wraps around their house, so the light just gets in everywhere. And if there aren't clouds, it's just too bright to take pictures sometimes. So especially because I'm pasty, the sun bounces off my face and back into the camera. Yeah, so I'm just going to, maybe we'll go for a walk and I can get some better pictures of things this weekend. Don't know, but there will be better pictures, and the Nova coat video will be coming at some point this week, I suspect. But what I'm planning on working on this week, I have one thing cut out, a small project, and I have another project that I'm going to cut out. Both of these I'll have mentioned to you at some point before. So the one that's already cut out, because it took about 10 minutes to cut out, is using this nice red wool. I do love red. I love wearing red. Is the Haymarket hooded scarf, which is a pattern by Hey Sew Sister, who sell lovely fabric. And they did these, so you can buy the pattern, I think, for like £4 or something. But they also did these kits, and I ordered it with a view of doing it over Christmas, but it's just sort of not happened. So I'm thinking of doing it maybe over the weekend. And it's basically a scarf with a hood attached, so you can sort of wear it with your coats that are hoodless. And in the kits, you get the wool. So I picked red. They had it in more neutral colours, but you know, it's me. So you get the wool, you get the pattern printed out. You only actually, you get dimensions for most of it, but you get the pattern piece for the hood side. And you get the printed instructions. You get, do you get thread? I don't know if you get thread, but you do get embroidery. So you do this blanket stitch around the edge. It's really pretty. And you get all of the embroidery floss for that. So I thought I could sew up the hoodie quickly. And then the blanket stitch I can do when I'm sat with Nathan in front of the TV or something. So it's just something a little less antisocial. So that's one project that I'm hoping will be quite speedy. I think I'm going to finish it just in time for the temperature to get really warm, which is apparently what's happening next week. So there you go. But ho-hum, it'll be ready for next time. And the other is this dress that I've talked to you about a few times, which is this double knit fabric, which is stretchy, but not in that direction. Stretchy in, oh, wait. That direction, there we go. So this is a double knit that I got from Fabrics Galore. And I love the print, and I bought it with a very specific plan in the sales, which was to make a dress for work, for school, that's simple silhouette, that's quite warm, and that isn't super creasy, because I keep making things, and then in the morning when I'm up at 6 and I'm leaving at 6:30, I'm like, I don't have time to iron that. So I want something that's going to be a bit lower maintenance. And so I'm going to cut this out this weekend and hopefully start sewing it as well, which is the Sew DIY Lou Box Dress 2. I don't know what dress 1 is. I haven't come across that yet. But yeah, so it looks really, it's a really simple silhouette. And I'm going to make it even more simple because I'm going to omit the pockets, even though I think they're very nice. And I love a pocket on a dress. But because it's for work, I just think they make it look a bit more casual in the fabric that I've got. So I'm just going to have a plain skirt front and back. So it's just going to basically be a loose fit dress with an elasticated waist. It has good neck coverage. It's got sleeves. It's not too short. So it will just be good for throwing on for chilly, wintry work days. So that's my other project. Then after those are done, I've got to do some sewing for other people. So I have agreed to make a jumper for my mum. She has a very favourite jumper and she got a grease stain on it right in the middle as well. And she went into town and tried to find something. She couldn't find anything that she really liked. And I just sort of said, you know, I could actually just make you that. It might not be exactly the same, but I can make you something pretty similar. I did inform her I was on a fabric ban because she wanted, the fabric was like a textured sweater knit, but it was like ribbed. But it wasn't like cable, like knitted fabric in terms of wool. So it was like a textured jersey, I guess, knit fabric. And I don't have anything like that. So I said to her, I'm on a fabric ban. I can't get you anything. But I pointed her towards a website. I said, this type of fabric will work. So if you want me to make you a jumper, you order what you want from there and I will make you a jumper. And so she ordered her knit fabric in a charcoal colour from First Fabrics. I think that'll arrive over the weekend. So I'm going to make her a little jumper with that. And then, as I've told you, I have a bazillion children. I don't have a bazillion children. My close friends, I have 5 close friends who have had babies recently. And I have sort of an array of different projects planned. Fairly straightforward. I normally go with Poppy and Jazz, which is the Sew Over It children's bit. The pansy dress is my favourite girls' dress, which is a very simple jersey dress. And then I've got a t-shirt pattern. I think I've got this, is it a strawberry sweatshirt pattern? It's going to be 3 boys and 2 girls to sew for. So I've got a nice mix. And I'm just going to sort of set up my own little assembly line because they're all the same size, aren't they? So I am, for one of the babies being born is one of my goddaughter's little sisters. So with my other goddaughters who are sisters to each other, I made them these little dresses that said like big sis and little sis on them. And they used this glitter jersey fabric, but colour blocked. So it was pink and navy, and I colour blocked them in different ways. So they match, but not exactly. And I couldn't get the exact same, but I managed to get them in light blue and light green. And so for this new baby being born, I'm going to make the same dresses, but with the light blue and the light green and with big sis and little sis on, just because I think it's cute. But everything else, apart from for Rosie, will be little newborn, well, maybe not newborn, but like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months or whatever the age ranges are. So yeah, so these 2 projects for me, and then I'm sewing for other people for a week or 2. And then I can get back to doing some fun things from my stash. I still have one delivery that's taking forever to come from the sale shopping, which is some French terry and some more kid fabrics from By Graziella. I chased them up because they emailed me and I responded, and then I didn't hear anything for ages. And I think it was dispatched yesterday. So I don't know. I guess they had a lot of sales because it's taken ages. But yeah, there are some. So there are some really bold prints that will go into kids stuff, and then there's a sort of sweatshirting fabric that's going to go into the stash. Yeah, so once I get all of those makes out of the way, I can think a bit more clearly about what's coming next. Is that it for me, I think? Oh, in terms of kids' clothes, have you seen Tilly and the Buttons are releasing a kids' book? I think it looks really good. I don't have kids, but I like sewing for my friends' kids and my nephews, my godchildren. And I think it's quite nice to have simple. I try to make things they can actually wear. So often I make things out of jersey because then they can actually wear them every day. Because it can be tempting to be like, oh, I'm going to make them this really cute thing. And it's something that they'll have grown out of within 5 minutes and they'll only maybe wear on official occasions or something. So I try to give them things that they can wear solidly for 6 months. And knowing Tilly's sort of design aesthetic, I think there'll be lots of really cute but like straightforward quick makes in there. So with options for, you know, in her book she always has those things where it's like, oh, you can ways to adapt the pattern, so you can add this or add that to make it a bit more you. So no, that's exciting, isn't it? Do you sew much for kids? I think it's nice because the fitting's a bit easier, to be honest, and also they're only little, so cutting out takes less time. That's nice too, isn't it? Anyway, I've babbled on for longer than I anticipated, but less long than previous weeks. So are we winning or losing? Don't know. Have a great week. Stay warm. Thank you so much for following and watching the video and liking and subscribing and whatever else you do. I really appreciate it. And I will hopefully have some more nice new makes to show you next week, and maybe a cloud or two outside so that I'm not battling with the light all day. All right, you take care. Bye.